I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
So Juneteenth has just recently passed, and although there were some negative behaviors and violence on that day, most of the celebration was positive, with food, dancing, and just overall great festivities for the holiday. And I personally, I had a great time myself on that day. And like I said in a recent video I did, from a selfish standpoint, I'm happy to have Juneteenth as a federal holiday because, like I said, I get a payday off from work. But at the same time, I don't understand that Juneteenth is just a trick by liberal politicians to continue the divide in this country over race. As Juneteenth is just a holiday for the state of Texas. It's not for the whole country to celebrate. As we wouldn't have this day if the whole George Floyd situation never happened. Now, America, which also includes us black people, our Independence Day is the 4th of July, not Juneteenth, as there will be no Juneteenth without the 4th of July. And right on time, the YouTube channel, Man vs. Street, they pretty much confirm how this holiday, Juneteenth, is subtly dividing the country.
Juneteenth is,
Which holiday do you think is more important, Juneteenth or the 4th of July?
by far Juneteenth for me.
I think they're equally important. Juneteenth, definitely.
They're both important. I think that it's been too long for people to actually celebrate Juneteenth.
What's happening to the white people? They have a Black Miss America. They have a Black college. They have a Black month. What do we have? And now,
I I understand where she's coming from a certain standpoint. Yeah, everything is going towards, indigenous people, black folks, every other race outside of white. So white people are being denigrated in this society at this particular moment. And so I can understand what she's saying. At the same time, white people do have advantages and do have abilities to do things in the society as well. So I'm not going to place oppression and victimization on them. But at the same time, I don't want to place it on us as black folks. People always sometimes come at me and say, oh, you're being sympathetic and so forth. But what I'm basically trying to say and do is that people have to realize that the pendulum always swings back. If we don't stop this victimization and oppression and placing white people as oppressors and we're being oppressed, the whole critical race theory type of teachings is that what you think is going to happen in the next generation, like 40, 50 years from now. So we need to stop the pendulum from swinging back and forth. Otherwise, if we don't stop it, it's going to come back and hit us much harder than it probably did, about 50, 60 years ago. We don't think that will happen, but you never know. Right now, we don't even know what a woman is. We think men could get pregnant. So we have to be mindful of that and be mindful of a history because, like I said, history tends to repeat itself.
now they have Juneteenth.
I'm not saying anything bad about Juneteenth, but 4th of July is a big thing.
See, right there, very fearful. A lot of white folks, they don't want to say it because they're fearful to be called a racist.
The 4th of July is kind of stupid. I think Juneteenth is more important.
That seems like a kid that's basically just indoctrinated. She looks, she's Asian. She looks Asian, like she's probably from Cambodia, Vietnamese, whatever it may be. And she just seems very indoctrinated to actually say something like that. And her boyfriend or her friend, I'm assuming it's a boyfriend, he just seems fearful. Like he don't even want to be on the camera. He don't even want to even participate in this right here. And that's why a lot of young people are going through. I noticed they're either fearful or they're just indoctrinated.
What makes the 4th of July stupid? Because it doesn't celebrate the freedom of all Americans.
See, look at that. She said that the 4th of July doesn't celebrate the freedom of all Americans. Prior to Juneteenth, 2 or 3 years ago, black folks were popping firecrackers. I was popping firecrackers as a kid, going down the street on 4th of July for I don't know, back in the 90s, so forth. So it's very unfortunate, once again, that a lot of these young people are, told and are made to believe these things because, like I said, it's just going to metastasize and get worse as time goes by.
Independence does apply to everybody as an American, not simply as this group in America versus that group. We're all American. So I would say Juneteenth is not as important because you have to understand it in the light of the 4th of July.
4th of July.
Okay, I totally agree with what he said. You can't have Juneteenth, basically saying you can't have Juneteenth unless you have 4th of July first. So he's correct.
Celebrating just everybody else freedom. We were still slaves when 4th of July started.
Both need to be celebrated because they're both pivotal periods in history that unite us.
But we've been celebrating Juneteenth far before it was a national holiday. It's something more inclusive to our own communities, more representative of our.
It's not really representative of black folks in America. It's more representative of people in Texas. Because like I said, I didn't know about Juneteenth until like 6-7 years ago. And that's because somebody that's from Texas was telling me about it. I believe it was at a church one time back in Florida, and they were talking about it, and that's how I learned about Juneteenth. Then, of course, you know what happened about 2-3 years ago with the holiday becoming a federal holiday. But a lot of black people didn't know about Juneteenth, so it's not really about a black thing. It's more like a Texas thing. I'm sure a lot of white people in Texas knew about this more than black folks in New York.
Our freedom.
Yes, I understand there was slavery, don't get me wrong. But there was also a Holocaust, and that was more recent than slavery.
Okay, so I understand, like I said before, I can understand where the lady's coming from. She's feeling that white people is basically being, pushed to the proverbial back of the bus. I can understand that. But when you use the Holocaust as a rebuttal, I'm like, come on, lady, that happened not in this country. So that's kind of like a straw man's argument right there. It doesn't compare to the two.
But you don't hear the Jews saying, gimme, 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 gimme.
I think it's important.
I ain't gonna say nothing to that one. I'm not gonna.
And to take pride in our own country, but also to remember that there were really hard times.
Juneteenth was just passed, and so that celebrates the emancipation.
Hold on a second. This is just a recent video, 2023. They still wearing masks up in D.C. I swear, black folks, man, we gotta stop being so fearful, man. Man, why they wearing masks?
Of slaves, and July 4th is when the Declaration of Independence was signed and we separated from Great Britain.
What's the point of Juneteenth? What is it? I don't know.
It's important to celebrate the end of an owning of people, which should have never happened in the first place.
We do a lot of ancestral healing and work together as a family.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, I just kind of learned about Juneteenth a little bit ago. It's kind of sad that I just recently learned about this in my life.
It was never.
See, that's the thing. It's kind of sad that no, it's not sad. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, I didn't know about it till 6-7 years ago, and people in Texas have been celebrating for over 100 years. So it's not sad. It's just, that's what it is. I mean, you're not gonna learn every detail about history, especially when it's specified to a particular area or a particular state. I mean, it's natural. I mean, come on, man.
Like an official holiday until now, so it's amazing that it's finally been recognized.
We've known and celebrated for forever, and I think now it's starting to get the credit that it deserves.
I could kind of believe that what he's saying is truthful because his shirt, it looked like it says "Greetings from Denton," and I know Denton is a popular city in North Texas, near Dallas. So he probably most likely is from Texas. So he probably most likely knew about the history of Juneteenth since he lived in Texas. I believe that. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe.
It's been too long.
Freedom is important to people who have been in slavery. And it's actually quite good that the Quakers did not believe in slavery.
What do you think's more important, Juneteenth or 4th of July?
What you say, Juneteenth? Man, Juneteenth. I say Juneteenth.
Why Juneteenth?
But I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know. This young man, he doesn't know because he has been told something, but it has not been explained to him. That's pretty much the definition of indoctrination right there. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, you don't know because it's never been explained to you. And that's where, unfortunately, where a lot of people are, or what a lot of people stand on this new federal holiday. A lot of white people are fearful to express what they really feel about the day, except the older white lady. She's like, I don't give a damn. I'm going to tell you. But most are fearful, so they just pander and repeat liberal talking points. And black folks, most of them feel emboldened, but also most of them also are ignorant of the day, and they don't realize the division this day is causing. But let me know. Leave a comment down below. And once again, what does Juneteenth mean to you?